Anything that's left on the roadways, that's going to refreeze. That's why we're saying travel is not advised, especially this morning. The storm could clip southern Marshall County and southern Boaz as well. And like Brad said, this will likely be extended into southern DeKalb County as well. That's going to take it into Crossville and Collinsville. See all of that moisture forming to our south. That's going to be the better chance for moisture. It's going to be all about how far north that moisture spreads into the colder air that the Tennessee Valley has.
Zombie Walk raised money for 2 charities. And Lauren is doing her best zombie walk.
What is happening today?
Certainly felt like spring today with highs in the 70s, but if you remember on Friday, Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis told you that things could get interesting with the colder weather moving in Sunday night into Monday. And if you remember just last night, I showed you the graphic for the ice potential, and that's what we're going to be tracking right now. And we still have that potential for that freezing rain during the overnight hours. Again, the impacts here in the Tennessee Valley look to be pretty minimal. However, we still have that threat for at least a light glazing, especially on those elevated surfaces like decks, cars, any trees. But of course, if the branches are weak, that could lead to some downed power lines, something we'll be keeping a close eye on. Also, we have that potential for, as the colder air rushes in, for at least some icy patches on bridges and overpasses. But we highlighted that area last night of northwest Alabama and across areas north of the Tennessee River, and that's where we have that winter weather advisory. That begins at midnight tonight and goes through mid-morning, so 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. That is when that is set to expire. So that includes most of the Tennessee Valley with the exception of Morgan, Marshall, and DeKalb County. So again, this is going to be a threat for the Monday morning commute. While widespread travel issues are not likely at this point because we've had such a warm weekend and the ground surfaces are warm from that, again, bridges and overpasses, that's what we're going to keep a close eye on. So just allow yourself a little bit of extra time because that's when we're going to have that threat of that freezing rain to be falling throughout your Monday morning commute with temperatures hovering right around that freezing mark. So especially on those bridges and overpasses, that's where you'll need to take it slow. And meteorologist Jeff Castle, he'll have an update, frequent updates on WAFF 48 News today, starting at 4:30 tomorrow morning. We're already tracking that cold air quickly rushing in. We've dropped to 35 degrees in Leoma and Pulaski, 42 in Florence, 47 in Huntsville right now. Still in the 60s in northeast Alabama, though, 64 in Scottsboro, Albertville, and Fort Payne, currently at 63 degrees right now. The rain is just now starting to begin across northwest Alabama. That's all it is right now, though, is just plain old rain. Temperatures are still above the freezing mark. Freezing rain, though, is not too far off. We've got reports, several reports, stretching all the way from Nashville to Memphis of that freezing rain and icing concerns. The snow threat, that's going to remain off to our north this time. So let's go hour by hour. During the overnight hours, we're going to continue to track that rain slowly making its way east across the region. Notice still around 3 a.m. Temperatures are in the middle to upper 30s for a good portion of the region, but that is above freezing. Just in time for the morning commute, though, that's when temperatures drop into the upper 20s to low 30s. So below the freezing mark, that's where we get that pink area showing up, and that's where we have that threat for freezing rain. So beginning as early as around 5 a.m. and lasting through around 8 a.m. Now notice there is a little blue and white in there, so a few snow flurries could mix in, but the bigger threat is going to be for that freezing rain potential, and mainly for areas north of the Tennessee River and northeast Alabama, and especially for southern middle Tennessee. If you're traveling any further north, expect widespread delays with that, widespread icing concerns with that as well. The precipitation moves out by around lunchtime at the very latest. High temperatures may rebound into the upper 30s, but it's going to be a cold. It is going to be a breezy day. So even though the highs are going to be in the upper 30s, by your evening commute, it's going to be quiet, but temperatures tumble back down into the upper 20s to around 30, and it's only going to feel like the teens for your evening commute. Overnight lows fall into the middle 20s by Tuesday morning, but southerly winds return for Tuesday afternoon, at least bumping those high temperatures up into the upper 40s. So it is just a brief cold spell, but we're certainly going to notice it after the 70s for today. Our next chance of more rain, that's going to come Thursday into Friday, but that's just plain old rain. And again, Jeff Castle will provide frequent updates starting at 4:30 tomorrow morning.
I know you said it's, a change from the 70s, but man, what a huge swing.
Yeah, just a stark contrast, but it's just luckily that it's pretty minimal here. Again, any further north, Nashville, significant icing. After the chilly start this morning, it was absolutely beautiful today. Temperatures were about 5 degrees above average, no clouds and no rain. However, thanks to all that rainfall we received yesterday morning, we're still looking at a little bit of a flooding concern. We do have flood warnings out for Madison, Jackson, and Marshall County. That is for the Paint Rock River. So just be mindful of that if you see any water in some of those low-lying areas, or especially if it's any water covering the roadways. But that's just about it, and that flooding warning will expire for tomorrow. So it's going to be very short-lived for that, because we are expecting dry conditions at least for tonight, and that is thanks to that high pressure. Now, it was directly on top of us last night, but that's now off to our south and to our east. And we talk about the direction of this because the flow around this, that clockwise flow, gives us those southerly winds. Those are going to be picking up, and that's also responsible for those mild temperatures that we're feeling right now. And it's also going to be a little bit milder for tonight as well. Temperatures won't be as chilly. Quickly tracking our first of several weather makers. The first one, that's across southern Texas. That's going to be building in that cloud cover for us for tonight, and that's quickly going to be followed tomorrow by scattered showers. It's a pretty large swath of that, as you can see, so scattered showers will be possible pretty much throughout the day. So the first one, that is going to affect us for tomorrow. Second one, that's really a series of cold front. This first one's not going to really have a huge impact on us. That's just going to dry those skies out once that passes through by Monday night. Then we have a brief period, and I do mean brief because the second cold front, that's going to bring another chance for at least a few rain showers, also a few snow showers, and bringing in some colder air as well. That one is going to affect us in the Tuesday and Wednesday time frame. So over the next 3 days, we have a lot of changes ongoing. Say goodbye to the mild temperatures and say goodbye to that sunshine as well. First, again, breaking it down for you, tomorrow, a soaking rain. Now, rain should be pretty light to moderate for most of the day, but it is going to be pretty soggy. It's going to be pretty dreary out there, and of course, cause those roadways to be wet, which could impact your commutes with the wet roadways as well. And then on Tuesday into Wednesday, that's going to bring a chance for a few rain showers that could transition over into a few snow showers. Right now, though, don't get too excited about the snow. If we see any accumulation, and that's a big if, they're going to be pretty minor at this point. But that is going to bring in some chillier air. Not as cold as it was last week, but it is going to be noticeably cooler. So let's take you hour by hour. Starting with tomorrow morning, we wake up to overcast skies around sunrise, around 40 degrees. But by around 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, so if you're headed out, maybe your commute starts a little bit later in the morning, you're going to be encountering some of those scattered showers. So starting as early as your Monday morning commute, transitioning over to your Monday evening commute, still tracking those rain showers. I said it's a pretty large swath of that, but notice just the lighter green. So again, the rainfall should be pretty light, but of course you don't want to be driving when we have that mist. By Monday evening, we start to dry out from the west to the east. We do keep a little bit of that cloud cover around Tuesday morning, waking up generally in the mid to the upper 30s. Tuesday afternoon and evening, there's that secondary cold front. Starts with just a few scattered light rain showers. As colder air moves in, we could see that transition over into a few snow showers, snow flurries. Again, the only threat that we're seeing maybe of minor accumulations right now just looks on some of those higher elevations. But then notice those temperatures once that system passes through, knocks those high temperatures back down into the 30s for Wednesday and then the 40s for the remainder of the week into next weekend as well. So not near as cold, but a little bit below average for this time of year. And of course, it's not the 50s and the 60s that we've been enjoying this weekend.
Right, definitely. But you still say it's an if on that snow.
Yeah, a big if for that. It's mainly just looking like some flurries that we'll see. But of course, we'll keep you updated on any changes if that does occur.
All right, we'll see. All right, Lauren.